So we have this report that we want to work on during this session, and we want to talk about layout customization first. So for each dashboard, we've connected it to data. We brought in some data sources, some metrics, some fields, some dimensions. And now we want to decide how do we want to lay out our dashboard. We have access to some frameworks like STQA, subject, topic, question, and answer. And we might want to follow that to prepare the outline of our report. First thing first, when we create a data studio dashboard for the first time, we have something like that, right? It's a blank page. We have some menu items over there and some properties over here. But this one in the middle, the blank kind of paper that we see is called canvas, the report canvas. And the layout and theme selections and configurations data studio mostly apply to the report canvas. Okay, so here I have something on the canvas because I wanted to demonstrate how does it look. When nothing is selected, or even when you have selected some charts or components, at the top, you will have access to theme and layout settings. If you click on that, it will appear on the sidebar, and we have two options, layout and theme settings. And I want to start with layout, okay? So the first thing is the view mode. Whatever happens in the view mode, we know that we have edit mode. Right now we are in the edit mode, but we have view mode, which is the way the user, the viewer consumes our report. Let's see what options do we have to set for the view mode. First of all, header visibility. This top part is called header from here to here. And we can choose if we want it to be visible or not. By default, it is on always show. So when we share a data studio report with someone, they will see the title of the report, the logo of Data Studio, and some options here, right? They cannot share if they have only view mode access, but they can see their own profile ID and some options here. We might not want to do that, right? And here we have some settings to change that. So basically, it's on always show by default. We have auto hide, which when they click somewhere or start using the report, it automatically goes away. And we have another one, which is initially hidden, which is the one that I usually prefer using because I want my report to look like mostly like a kind of web application. I don't want any distractions for the viewer unless they're aware what they want to do. So if it's initially hidden, if they go to the view mode, nothing shows at the top. So there is no header unless if they move their mouse pointer close to the top edge of the page, and then they can access the header. So this is the header visibility. And after that, we have access to some options for the navigation. So here we have the navigation. If we have more than one page on our report, we have access to navigation, page navigation Data Studio. And we have a couple of options as well. So right now it is set to left navigation, which basically shows all the pages and different sections on the left side in this nice sidebar, and it is collapsible, so they can collapse it or expand it. We will talk about that in the interaction UX session a little bit more, but let's take a look at the other options that we have. Right now, I have a lot of pages, and I had to even categorize them into sections. But if you have only a few pages, like 2, 3, or 4, you might want to use the tab option, which brings everything at the top. Even right now, because I have grouped different pages into different sections, the tab bar is a nice way of working with this report. So it's at the top, just like a menu bar. You can work with it and access different pages. I actually like it right now that I'm looking at it. It was always on left. So usually I put it on left side, but this way the tab one looks nice as well. We have top left, which is basically hidden under this little space under the reporter style. But when you click on it, it will open the left bar. And when you click again, it completely goes away. And it's a way for you to create an immersive experience for the user without any distractions if you want to. And finally, we can do, if you want to go for a completely web application like interface, and we want the user not to understand it's a data report at all, as much as possible, we can make it hidden. So if the navigation is hidden, then it won't show at all. So there is no way for the user to navigate and see the list of other pages. If they are a little bit sophisticated, they can use the arrow keys on their keyboard to navigate between pages, right? And the other way to help them navigate and to guide them to navigate through pages the way you want is to include in-page navigation on the canvas by linking between pages manually. So maybe you want to have a hub page, and from that hub, you want to have links to specific pages with the details of each one of the numbers that you're presenting. So you don't want them to have access to see all the pages, but you want it to be selective. You want to selectively create an experience, a journey for them to consume the information on your report in the way that you want to design. In that case, you can use hidden and not show them the navigation at all. So let's bring it back to left because we want to use it during this session. The next one is respect reports theme, which basically means that the navigation respects what the colors and fonts, etc., that we set on the theme settings on our report. Display mode, actual size versus fit to page. Right now it is actual size. So the size of the canvas, whatever I design it to be, like 1,000 pixels by 700 pixel, 1,200 by 800, whatever pixel dimension that is selected for the canvas, it stays at the same size. It doesn't expand to fit the width of the page that is available to it, but we can change it and we can actually fit it to the width of the page. See that? Now it's bigger. It actually fits all the page available to it. But there's a caveat. This is not responsive design. Everything enlarges to fit all the available widths of the page, as much as possible. And the components will be larger. The font sizes will be larger. I actually had an instance using fit to width with a client that they used to use very wide monitors in their office, and they actually didn't like this feature. They said the fonts are too large and we're not happy. Could you just set it to a fixed size so regardless of the size of the monitor that we use, we have the exact same experience? Okay. We have a question from Robert.
Yeah, Robert asked, are there any recommendations for canvas sizes?
Usually for the width of the canvas, when the client uses desktop to access the report, the one that I recently came up with after some testing and works best for most of my clients is 1,180 pixels. But for the height of the report, I will use as much as needed. Usually I try to eliminate any vertical scrolling, but if needed, I will increase the height of the page. Okay, good. Awesome. The next one is as margin basically is talking about this margin across the canvas. So I usually don't like that. I always almost, it's my personal preference, I will uncheck it. So whatever background color you've selected for the canvas, it expands to the rest of the page and it actually fits the whole width of the page. It looks like an application right now. This is how I like to design everything and have complete control on the design of the page and the header and everything like that. That's it. Let's see, what else do we have? The size of the canvas, which even this one is 1,180. Oh, let me bring it down. What did I do? And the height is 700 pixels. The snap to is something really time saving and really useful. By default, I guess it is on grid. And the snapping means when we are moving components on the page, where they snap to. Right now, they are snapping to this little guides, the dots on the page, which are invisible in view mode, but just visible in edit mode. So they snap to these guides. And I find it really useful to simply lay out my pages in a clean way and just have the exact same margin between different components. By default, I guess it is on 50, the size of the grids, like it's this big, but I don't really like that. So I usually put it on 20, but you can try with different numbers to see what is your personal preference from a design point of view. A smart guide is basically, it doesn't snap the objects to the grid itself, but it tries to snap the objects to themselves. So aligns them together, centers them together and to different objects on the page itself. It might be nice, but I really found the grids much more time saving and easier to work with. Okay. And these are basically waste of time. I'm not going to cover them, but reports level component position. Who has used it? No. This is hard to explain. I have to go to the next page in order to be able to explain. Okay. So let's talk about what is report level, what is page level. So this one you might have actually used. So the components on a page right now, these components are on a page level. This component, we can find it exactly on the second page, but these two are not the exact same component. If I move this, the one on the first page doesn't move, right? So these two are, they look identical, but these are not the same. Even if I remove this one, right, this one stays in place. So we figured out that these are just copies of the same component, right? But if I want the date range selector, for example, this one, to be available on second page as well, I need to copy it, right? And I need to paste it on this page, like this, okay? So copy it and paste it, and then I can place it maybe over here, right? Now, let me make this a little bit larger because I need it to be larger. If the viewer is looking at this report on the second page and the time frame that they're interested in is not 1st of January to 4th of May, they actually want to only look at January, right? So 1st of January to 31st of January. They see the numbers, but as soon as they start to navigate between different pages, like going back to the first page, this date range selector is still on this previous value because these are page level components. These are two different date range selectors that look identical. These are not the same, right? These are not connected. But if we want to have something not page level, we have the option to select this one, right? This date range selector, right click on it and make it report level. Then it wouldn't be appearing only on this page, but it will appear on every page on this report in the exact same position, but not on this page. Why doesn't it appear on the second page? Anyone can guess? Okay, I'll tell you.
I know because we did this with Tammy on.
Yeah, the ones who know.
Yeah, I was going to say, am I allowed to answer?
You're not allowed to answer. So it is behind this rectangle that I manually put here. So it's underneath this rectangle, right? Now I want you to pay attention to something. When I select a page level component, the edges are blue. When I select a report level component, the edges are purple, right? So we know this is page level, this is report level. And now this report level is underneath, is behind this page level component, which is a rectangle. So now I can explain what does it mean under the layout setting that report level component positions are at the bottom, right? So it basically means that anything that is report level is always at the bottom of everything else that are page level, right? If I bring them to top, now every report level component will be sitting at the top of page level components. Think of them as two different groups of layers. Within report level components, we can move things around the order, bring to back, move to front. So we can change the order by right-clicking an order, right, bring forward, send backwards, etc., just like all the other programs that have this functionality. Within page level components on another group of layers, we can also do this, but these two are two different groups. And within the layout setting, we can select where do we want our report level components group to be. So in this case, report levels are always on top of page levels. Even if I click on it and on order, I click send to back, it will send it to back of all report level components, and it doesn't go backwards at the bottom of page level components. This is very useful because there's a use case for that. First of all, let me bring it to bottom because I want to show why. This date range selector now is on this page and on this page and on this page. But later on in this session, I have pages that I don't want it to be there. I don't need a date range selector on those pages, right? So if date range selectors as report level components are at the bottom, now on this page, what I can do is that I can put a rectangle with the same background color of the report, and I can make it hidden. But if I set my report level components to be at the top, I can never hide them on any single page. They will appear on every page regardless. Okay. So that is the reason. That is the reason that this one is a useful setting, and I spent so much time explaining. Okay. Now,
I got a question here.
of course,
And I probably know the answer to this, but I'm wondering, you see how you got the styling like a pro, the time-saving techniques, the effective communication, community visualization groupings? Is there any way to create a date filter for the pages just under those sections rather than either the whole report or individual pages?
no.
Okay.
But on a single page, so let's assume that I have this date range now at the report level, and it is applying on all pages. But on this single page theme customization, I want it to be like year long or just last week. What I can do is I can copy it, right? I can paste it. And the new one, I can right click and make it page level. So on that page only, you have to do it page by page. You have to overlay it with a page level date range selector and then put that on maybe last 7 days.
Yeah.
Anything that is page level overrides whatever at the higher level of hierarchy, which is report level.
Got it. Yeah, I was more looking for in the groupings if we were able to do
The
it.
time saving, yeah. Unfortunately.
No. Okay. Thank you. I thought so,
Ahmad,
but
Ahmad, I just have a quick question on that. So are you saying that if you make the date range selector in this example page level,
Yep.
but there is a report level date range selector behind it, that you do not have to group all of the charts
No,
that are on that page if you have that page level date range selector?
no, you don't have to group.
Okay.
There's a hierarchy: report, page, group, and component. The lower hierarchy levels, they override whatever is set at the higher hierarchy. So page is lower than report, so page overrides report. Group overrides page, and chart overrides anything else. So regardless of whatever date range selector you have at the page level, group level, report level, if you click on a chart and manually set it to a custom fixed date range, for example, it will override everything else.
Great. Thanks.
Awesome.